Recently, I did a little video about the male-female wage gap. Now, this is something you hear about from the media with some frequency because it makes for great left-wing propaganda. You know, you've heard it. A woman makes only 77 cents on a man's dollar, and this is such a terrible problem that we have to remedy. Well, in my recent video, I was talking about how trying to eliminate this wage gap can actually hurt women. If you want to know why that is, just watch that video. I'll link to it below. But today I'm talking about the issue again because yesterday, maybe today, Jordan Peterson, he's a college professor from Canada, was being interviewed by some remarkably ignorant anchor reporter, and this issue came up. And the reporter was harping on the male-female wage gap and said, well, isn't this terrible? Shouldn't women be upset by this? Okay, well, first of all, let's understand that this gap has nothing to do with unjust discrimination. I and others have explained this over and over and over again. For instance, what does it have to do with? Well, it has to do actually with different career paths that the sexes take and different lifestyle choices that they make. Women, for instance, will prioritize job satisfaction over income. Women tend to choose less lucrative careers, the social sciences versus the hard sciences. Men take on the dirtiest and most dangerous jobs, many of which pay very handsomely, like being an Alaskan king crab fisherman. That's just one example. I know there are many others. And there are other differences as well. Women are more likely to interrupt their careers because they want to have kids, which is a beautiful thing. That's the most noble thing you can do, but it's a reality. Women are more likely to turn down promotion, citing familial responsibilities. And there are factors I can't even think of right now. The point is that this wage gap has nothing at all to do with unjust discrimination. That is propaganda. Anyway, though, I want to put this all in perspective because, like I said, that reporter who was interviewing Jordan Peterson was making hay out of this. Well, shouldn't women be upset about the wage gap? Up in arms. Okay, how about this? Should we be upset about the Jewish-Gentile wage gap? Jews make more than non-Jews. Should we be upset about that? Should something be done about it? Is it a problem? How about this one? The highest earning religious group in the country, most people wouldn't guess this, happens to be Hindus. So should we be upset about the Hindu non-Hindu wage gap? Should we try to do something about it? Is this a big problem in society? Can we not be happy? Can we not be a just society unless it's eliminated? The point is, this is so ridiculous. There are all sorts of gaps among all sorts of different groups for all sorts of different reasons. But the point is that equality is not a thing of this world. You cannot find an instance in history where in a civilization or a country, every single group performed to the exact same degree in all worldly endeavors. You will never find an instance like that anywhere in history. It's not possible. Like I said, equality is not a thing of this world. When did we first start with this obsession with equality, which really is killing us? Well, we started hearing about it during the so-called Enlightenment, which, sorry folks, was not that enlightening. I know you fans of the Enlightenment may be upset to hear that, but it really wasn't. Prior to then, you didn't hear talk about equality. It wasn't emphasized in any great work. In the Bible, you didn't hear about it unless it was in reference to weights and measures. Anyway, so it started with the Enlightenment, the French Revolution, and the French revolutionaries were left-wing radicals, by the way, far left, égalité, fraternité, stupidité. Anyway, then it was picked up, the equality fixation, by socialists who became known as communists, so on and so forth. And now today we rip ourselves apart trying to achieve equality, which should not be our focus. Equality tells you nothing about quality. I'll illustrate the point. Let's say you have two tennis centers training kids to play tennis, right? Let's say after a year in the first tennis center, all the kids happen to be advanced beginners, all of them. In the second tennis center, some of the kids are advanced beginners, but some are low intermediates, some are intermediates, some are advanced, and some are almost tournament level players. Okay, now, first question. At which tennis center do you have the most equality? Obviously the first one. But now, at which tennis center are the kids doing better in general? At the one where there's far less equality. And again, equality tells you nothing about quality. Nothing at all, and that's why we shouldn't be focusing on it. It makes no difference whether or not women and men make the same salaries on average. Sorry, it just doesn't. Just like it doesn't make a difference whether or not Jews and Gentiles are making the same salaries, or Hindus and non-Hindus. It doesn't matter at all, because you will see these differences among people. What matters is that we have a just civilization where people can strive to be what they can and should be, and where people get the opportunities they should have. That's all that matters. Nothing else does. Equality tells you nothing about quality.